All right, we got your video synced up here to when that ball comes out of your hand at release. We will let you watch this video 2 times, and then we will get to the note that was provided, and then we will get a big league video up to really help explain and highlight the point we're trying to make. And then we will get you some drills that you can start doing at home that's going to help you feel more confident and comfortable making this adjustment. And that note that we gave you, let me pull up this real quick while we get back to here. And the note that we have for you is we want to use your back leg to move your body forward. So back leg, taking my body forward. And what that's going to look like when we use your back leg to move your body forward is, if we just focus on the side view video here, what we want to have happen is that when this front foot gets into the ground, we want our body to have gone as aggressively to the target as we possibly can. And a lot of times what that's going to mean is that our body gets further away from this pitching rubber. When we use our back leg to move our entire body down the mound or towards our target, all of that is occurring while this front foot is up off the ground. Because as soon as this foot gets into the ground, we can't go forward anymore. Just like when you're walking, if that front foot doesn't come back up off the ground to step forward again, you're not going forward again. Your front foot, bam, hits the ground, and we haven't used this back leg to move our body forward at all yet. So if I get a big league video out here for you, and that's just kind of pull one up at random, doesn't need to be anyone in particular. So I'm seeing a Jacob right here, who hopefully you start hearing this name more and more often because he is a young guy who's a future superstar. And we're going to watch his back leg here before that front leg gets in the ground. Before this thing gets into the ground, we're going to see this thing do some big time movements that's going to get this body going forward more. You see that? That back leg is doing its rotation, and that's taking our body forward more. And this clip is even kind of panning sideways with them because you can kind of see how that goes as well. So his body is going even further forward than we think. So let me get even a better video that's more stagnant from the side. So we got Pablo Lopez here, another fantastic pitcher. And what we'll notice, we'll kind of pause at that same time. Right before this front foot gets into the ground, we're going to notice this back leg doing a lot of things that's going to move our body forward. We can see the back knee is rotating, the back foot is rotating, the back hip is going forward. And that's what moves our body forward. That's what supplies our throw with power, is this back leg being able to move our body with energy and power down and out. We watch you and your back leg, when it really starts to do that rotation movement, is already after that heel is in the ground. And by the time you really do that foot movement, this foot is in the ground. So that's why when your back leg is doing those movements, your body doesn't get to go forward because your front foot's already in the ground. So if you were doing these movements with your back leg before that front foot hit the ground, your body would be able to go forward more. But your body's only going forward because of the throw, which is a great thing for us to be doing, getting out in front with the throw. But you could be getting so much more in front because this leg could really be down here, which would have your leg going like this to your body instead of it going like that to your body. So if we can just work on using your back leg to move your body forward, we're going to create a lot better energy and more power. So we'll let you watch it one more time of what that back leg is doing, and then we'll let you watch the big league video one more time to see how that back leg moves, and then we'll get you a drill that's going to help you feel this movement so you can learn how to control when you do the movement. All right, we're going to be working on getting our backside leg rotated and driven forward, not just spinning in place. So we can just be sitting on a bench, in a chair, anywhere we can have our hands on either side of it to keep our upper body squared and stable. And we're just going to be driving through that big toe, which means we're folding over that big toe to get the foot forward versus spinning in place where the knee stays in place. We need to drive the foot forward to get the knee to go forward versus spinning in place and the knee not going forward. So we can just sit on that bench, on that chair, and just work and practice this movement here of folding over that big toe, driving your foot forward, getting your heel to be in front of your toe at the end. All right, we got your 2 video clips here synced up to when that ball comes out of your hand at release. We'll let you watch this 2 times in a row before we revisit the note that was given at the beginning of your chapter and get into some details about what that means, and then show you some ways that we can start to practice making those changes. Okay, and that note that we got for you, let me get my little marker out here, is controlling your front leg. And what I mean by controlling my front leg is when we get this front foot to get nice high leg lift, and then the leg starts to come down and then starts to go forward, it ultimately is going to get itself, bam, into the ground. And now that it's in the ground, what we want to think about is we have a little bit of bend in that knee, which is good. We want that bend. What we want, though, is when this upper body now comes to rotate to throw, we want this leg to be sturdy, firm, controlled, not moving. We only want the stuff that's on our backside here to be moving forward. We don't want this leg to be moving either this way or that way. So if we then kind of, wrong button. If we then kind of watch, your leg starts to do a movement that we would call like locking out or firming up or bracing. It kind of starts to straighten out a little bit, which is great. But then it stops doing that and then kind of gets that big old bend. Why is it kind of getting that big old bend? If we kind of look at our heel here, the foot's in the ground. We rotate forward really well. We do a great job of taking our body forward to get out in front at release. It's fantastic. Not a lot of kids your age are doing that on the regular. We just want to make sure as you're doing that, we have a little bit more control over this leg. And that's going to have us be a little bit more in control of our delivery. So we want to think this leg gets bam in the ground, and now we got control of it. We don't want it to go side to side. We don't want it to bend more. And if anything, we want it to bend less, less, less. Bending less each time versus more each time. So if I gave you a real quick big league video example of that, let's pull one guy up here. Oh, all right, we're at Garrett Cole. You probably have heard that name before, hopefully. One of the best to do it right now, and the best to do it for a while right now. So if we slow that down for you so you got a chance to see what happened, we'll pause him when his front foot gets into the ground. Bam! I should go this way with it. And then we'll pull you this way. I gotta go more with you. Okay, so we look at these front legs. Very similar bends. But we're gonna see with Garrett Cole, as he goes to throw, see how that thing straightens out? It landed there. And when the ball comes out, it's there. And then he can keep that thing straight as the rest of his body finishes the pitch. And then we compare that to you. And your leg, like we said, starts to do that firmen up, straighten out movement. It starts to, and then it just can't continue. And then boom, there goes your whole leg now forward. Versus, that's funny, kind of looks like your leg, doesn't it? Versus seeing how it's there the whole time until the very end. Once that leg's almost all the way back around. Everything else you do in your delivery, dude, is cool. Looks good. There's some unique stuff in here, like this thing right here. It's kind of funky, but it doesn't disrupt anything. Your arm path is pretty quick to get loaded, but you hold it pretty well. It's not putting you in any bad positions, really. Things are looking good. All right, next we're going to work on being balanced on that front leg, having good stability as our body gets out in front of the leg. Just like it would be when we get to release in our follow through and our finish, we are in front of this leg. So we want to work on the strength, the balance, the stability of getting out here and being able to be balanced. Okay, so we're gonna have 3 different objects here of varying heights. The shortest one closest to me, and the higher one furthest from me. Everyone's gonna have a little different height based on your flexibility. All I'm gonna be doing is gonna be on that stride leg. Bam. Working good knee posture, no bending of this leg, having a good arched lower back as we do this so our back can stay stiff and not be loose and go down hunched. And now we're just going to go down, touch, and come back up. Now you're going to the next one. Down, touch, come back up. And then the third one. Touch. So this drill here is going to help us with a few things. First, helping us keep our glove in a good finished position as we are rotating those shoulders to throw the baseball by keeping that hand on the PVC pipe on the outside of our front foot. But even more importantly, this drill is helping us learn how to rotate our shoulders and our hips through release and not just stopping at release. So being able to hold onto that PVC pipe and rotate my shoulders through release, I can rotate around that PVC pipe. The next stage here, we can see we added getting the shoulders back to the position that they are at when we get our front foot into the ground during our pitching delivery. We can see we get that hand that's holding onto the PVC pipe and get that out as if our glove is getting into its separation. So we'll see that here. And then we'll work on swiveling it into our chest and then finishing the rest of the throw through rotation. And then eventually we'll be able to work it all into one motion where we work it back and then come all the way through in one smooth motion. And I have the PVC pipe in front of my foot here, so that way I can make sure that my back foot is coming to a similar position each and every time at the end of the drill. See that my hips go all the way through, the shoulders come all the way through each and every time, but that foot and that head stay right on line. Mr. White, you got your two video clips here synced up to when that ball is coming out of your hand at release. I'm going to let you watch it 2 times through here, and then we'll revisit that note that was provided at the beginning of your chapter. We will get a big league video up there to compare your mechanics with to help you understand that note that we're giving you, and then we'll leave you with some drills that you can be doing at home to start helping you feel the difference in those mechanics and start to get some confidence in doing something different than you usually do. So that note that we got is to think about throwing the ball down, or another way to think about that is really trying to release this ball out in front of you as much as we can. So what we're going to do is we are going to pause this video at 2 different times. We're not going to really need to watch or pay attention to the front view right now. We're just going to want to focus on the side view. And the first time we're going to pause this is when that front foot really gets into the ground, because we can't throw the baseball until the foot gets into the ground. All right, so now that foot's in the ground, we're going to mark that our body's nice and tall, just like it should be. And then we're going to pause it again when this baseball, boom, comes out of our hands right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw another line through our head again, but this time through our back, like that. And we can just kind of extend that up there, okay? So when we go back and we say, when we are rotating to throw the ball, we are only rotating out this much. We go from here to here. When we're throwing, we're trying to get from here to as much of here as we can. The further that I can get out to my target with my chest and my head and my hand, the more good things are going to happen for me. power is going to be better. My command and my accuracy is going to be better. So I'm going to throw more strikes. And the stress that's on my arm is going to get reduced. Those three things are very, very good and important for us as a pitcher to be at a very elite level doing. So again, we'll kind of clean that up a little bit. Here's the center of your spine. Ball's coming out of your hand. We go down the center of your spine once again. And this is the amount of energy that you're able to send forward to help your pitch go forward. So let's get a big leaguer up here. Jacob deGrom. I'm sure, or hopefully you've heard the name before. And we'll pause Jacob deGrom at those same points in time. All right, so we'll just kind of move him back a little bit so that line that we drew for the center of your body can also be the center of his body. And we'll do the same thing. We'll let him keep going through his delivery until that ball of his comes, bam, out of his hand. And if we kind of watch, we can see that there's a little bit of blur right here, and it's going to continue all the way almost to past this guy with the yellow shirt. That blur right there that you're kind of seeing, that's the baseball, right, coming out of his hand. So we draw that same line then through his spine, and we can just see how much more down his chest is getting, or how much more out in front of his body he's able to release that ball. If we drew like a line from where your hand's releasing the ball right now, we would say it's releasing it like above your kneecap. If we did that same thing for deGrom here, and we say like here's his arm, it's blurred right now because here's the ball coming through, and we draw that line down from here, he's releasing that pitch more over his foot. So when we see the note of we want to think about throwing the ball down, we're not going to be able to throw the ball down if I'm this upright at release. It's going to be a lot easier to throw the ball down if my chest is also kind of angling down. Instead of my chest being here and rotating here, I rotate it down. That's going to help get our release out in front. And like I said, it's going to have better energy, which is going to equal more strikes and more power. So we'll give you some drills that you can do at home that's going to help you learn how to get that chest to rotate forward, really getting out there and down. This drill here is going to help us learn how to rotate our chest forward. Taking our back shoulder and driving it forward as we rotate versus those shoulders opening up and flying out as we rotate. We want to find an object that has a little bit of a padding so we can send that forearm right into it without having to worry about it hurting. So you can see the side one, I had it, but the front view one, it's missing, so I had a little bruise when I got done with it. But we're just working on going back and forth, back and forth. Our chest is tall when we're back, and then it's leaning forward when we're making contact with that wall or wherever that object is that we're hitting. If I was to have that front shoulder open up to the side and then I try to hit that, I'm going to miss that target, or just barely my elbow is going to hit it instead of the forearm. So this is a really good drill to learn how to rotate forward. Mr. Champagne, we got your 2 videos here synced up to when that ball is coming out of your hand at release. We're going to let you watch it 2 times in a row here before we revisit that note that was given at the beginning of your chapter. And we'll use a big leaguer to help really emphasize that note and help you see what we mean. And then we'll get you some drills that can help you work on it at home. And again, that note that we provided was thinking about finishing my body. And what that's going to do is going to keep your arm safe. And, which you probably like to hear, It's going to make your throws more aggressive, which is going to help you throw harder. So what we're going to do is we're going to get these 2 videos to play again. And we are going to pause the video when that front foot, bam, gets into the ground. We've done a lot of things really well here. We've rotated the lower half on time, getting it going to the target. We've gotten the glove finishing in a good position. We get that shin, trying to look down that shoulder, so that way we can rotate things forward. What we're going to do now is we are going to get us to the moment that the ball's coming out of our hand. Bam! We do a good job of our body getting out in front, rotating things forward, really trying to reach and extend out towards our target. And now what we're going to watch is how from here, our shoulders, we're facing this way. Shoulders are facing this way. They rotate 90 plus degrees to get to release position. Bam. I think we can both agree they did that very quickly, aggressively, and fast. We can also agree that your hips started in that same positioning that your shoulders did. And then at this point in time, they've already themselves, as we can see, have rotated this way 90 degrees. What we want to see is that they continue to rotate a bit, both the upper body and the lower body, after we release this ball. After we release our pitch, bam, we want to see these shoulders continue to rotate around this strong front leg. We want to see this back hip, back knee, back foot come up and around this front leg. What we're going to see instead is this back foot just kind of stay anchored into the ground, dragging behind us the whole time. And then us falling backwards, backwards, backwards. Us falling backwards after each pitch rather than finishing all the way through. So we got Charlie Morton up here, who's a fantastic pitcher. You may not have heard of him before, but he's did it for a very, very, very long time at a very, very high level. So we'll get him to be paused at when that ball's coming out of his hands. Right there. And now we're going to watch his shoulder and his hip continue to rotate around. See how we know what number he is. And we know his last name. And we know what brand pant he wears. And we know that he's in the big leagues because there's the MLB logo on the back of his pants. In the beginning, we know he plays for Atlanta Braves. And then at the end, we know his jersey number and his name. So that way, all of that rotation and all that energy that we just did and went through is like driving a car super, super fast on the highway. If we all of a sudden have to slam on our brakes on the highway, that's not good for our car. That's not good for our brakes. We can't do that a whole lot and expect the brakes to still work good. But if we're on the highway going really, really fast and we just start to gradually or slowly slow down and then come to a stop, our brakes are a lot more healthy. They don't need repairs as early, and our car is running much more smoothly. That's what we want to think for you. And to do that, we need to think about finishing your body after your pitch. So we'll show you one more time and what it looks like all at one speed when you got all this power coming through and then we just kind of stop it and fall backwards. versus bringing all that power rotationally through and then allowing it to continue to rotate through to slow down. So this drill here is going to help us with a few things. First, helping us keep our glove in a good finished position as we are rotating those shoulders to throw the baseball by keeping that hand on the PVC pipe on the outside of our front foot. But even more importantly, this drill is helping us learn how to rotate our shoulders and our hips through release and not just stopping at release. So being able to hold onto that PVC pipe and rotate my shoulders through release, I can rotate around that PVC pipe. The next stage here, we can see we added getting the shoulders back to the position that they are at when we get our front foot into the ground during our pitching delivery. We can see we get that hand that's holding onto the PVC pipe and get that out as if our glove is getting into its separation. So we'll see that here. And then we'll work on swiveling it into our chest and then finishing the rest of the throw through rotation. And then eventually we'll be able to work it all into one motion where we work it back and then come all the way through in one smooth motion. And I have the PVC pipe in front of my foot here, so that way I can make sure that my back foot is coming to a similar position each and every time at the end of the drill. See that my hips go all the way through, the shoulders come all the way through each and every time, but that foot and that head stay right on line. All right, my man. We have your 2 video clips here synced up to when that ball comes out of your hand at release. We'll let you watch it 2 times here. And then we will revisit the note that was provided at the beginning of your clip. And then we'll use a big league video to help show you what we're talking about. So that way you have a better idea of what it should look like. And then we'll get you some drills that we can do at home. So that note that I have for you is to finish your glove. And this isn't just a pitching thing. This is a whenever I throw a baseball thing. You do a good job with this nice high leg lift. You do a good job of keeping your weight back and not falling forward. We do a good job with this glove getting out over here. But what we want to notice is how quickly that glove gets, bam, in line with you. It starts off over here. Good, just like we want. But we would like to see it travel in here a little bit longer before it starts to get into this lane over here. Because once it goes from lane 1 into lane 2, it's very quickly going to get then into lane 3. And lane 3 is the danger zone. So the longer we can stay in lane 1, the better. Because the danger of getting into lane 2 too quickly and getting then over into lane 3 is that as soon as we get into lane 3 with the glove, the next thing to go is going to be the front shoulder. Bam. And now we see before this front foot gets all the way into the ground, this front shoulder is fully opened almost. We see what that looks like from this side view as well. By the time this front foot gets in the ground, we can see it hits the inside part first. It's got to roll to the outside. Bam. This arm is just about ready to come on through. We want these shoulders to still be completely sideways when this front foot hits the ground. And the reason yours aren't is because of your glove being here good, here good, but then it gets to here, and we can see how that starts to open your shoulder up. So if we pull up a big leaguer here, we've got Paul Skeens, who I'm definitely know you know who that is. And we'll have that same thing, right? Here's one of those lanes that he's traveling in. That's good, that we like the glove in. Now he's in the lane that's right in line with him, which is good. And we can see that it's just before that front foot hits the ground. So when the foot is in the ground, where's that glove at? Bam! His glove went from here right into his rib cage here, that armpit chest area. And now as he goes to rotate the throw, we'll see how that just stays there, and the back shoulder now gets to come forward. Bam. So we'll keep this pause here. We'll slide it over, and then we'll pause you again when that front foot of yours gets all the way into the ground. Bam. Versus Paul Skeen's foot getting all the way into the ground is bam. You see that big difference in your guys' shoulders. Paul Skeens now is going to be able to rotate 100% of his shoulders to make his pitch width. You get to rotate 10% of your shoulders to make your pitch width. So your power of your throw is going now. Now. Paul Skeens' power is going now. So it's going to be a lot healthier for our arm, and our arm is going to be a lot stronger if we can start to learn how to finish this glove into our body, so that way it doesn't swoop outside of our body. Which, once the hand goes, the elbow is going to come shortly after. And then once the elbow goes, the shoulder is going to go shortly after. And now we got all of that went outside of your body, bringing the back shoulder through too soon. So, control the glove, we control the throw. So this drill here is going to help us with a few things. First, helping us keep our glove in a good finished position as we are rotating those shoulders to throw the baseball by keeping that hand on the PVC pipe on the outside of our front foot. But even more importantly, this drill is helping us learn how to rotate our shoulders and our hips through release and not just stopping at release. So being able to hold onto that PVC pipe and rotate my shoulders through release, I can rotate around that PVC pipe. The next stage here, we can see we added getting the shoulders back to the position that they are at when we get our front foot into the ground during our pitching delivery. We can see we get that hand that's holding onto the PVC pipe and get that out as if our glove is getting into its separation. So we'll see that here. And then we'll work on swiveling it into our chest and then finishing the rest of the throw through rotation. And then eventually we'll be able to work it all into one motion where we work it back and then come all the way through in one smooth motion. And I have the PVC pipe in front of my foot here, so that way I can make sure that my back foot is coming to a similar position each and every time at the end of the drill. See that my hips go all the way through, the shoulders come all the way through each and every time, but that foot and that head stay right on line. All right, Johnson, we got your 2 videos here synced up to when that ball comes out of your hand at release. We'll let you watch it 2 times here, and then we'll revisit the note that was provided at the beginning of your chapter. And then we'll get you a big league video for us to see what we're really trying to accomplish and change with our mechanics. And then we'll get you some drills that you can do at home to start practicing. So we want to think about a strong, sturdy front leg. And what we're going to do is we're going to pause this video when your front foot, boom, gets it in the ground. And something that you do really good is we can see that belt buckle is going towards that target right now, and our shoulders are still sideways. It's very good. That's how we create power in our throw. We also do a good job of this glove finishing and staying close to our body. What we're going to look at is when this foot gets into the ground, that's when we've stopped the video. We paused it here. And what we want to think about is this leg has a little bend to it, which is good. We need to have that bend in that leg. But what we want to think about now, like that note says, we want a strong, sturdy front leg. And this is when that strong, sturdy front leg is going to come in. Because we got this little bend in that knee, and what we want now is for this leg to become strong and sturdy, meaning it either stays in this exact position as we rotate around to throw, or something else that it could do to become strong and sturdy would be to have that bend in that knee straighten up so that way your leg is more straight. Because this is the leg that this upper body is going to rotate around and finish around when we make this throw. So if we kind of do that line again, and then we let your video proceed forward a bit, we can see how your leg starts to do that straightening out motion that we just mentioned. But then the leg becomes unsturdy because it starts to bend again. And it starts to bend even more. And then it starts to bend even more. And that's why our chest keeps falling down, 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 because that knee keeps bending and taking us more and more forward. But if this front leg was able to stay more in this sturdy position, we wouldn't be falling down. We would be able to rotate and finish around. So I got two left-handed pitchers up here for us to look at. Both have very different deliveries and both have very different finishes, but they are both having a strong, sturdy leg while they throw and finish. So we'll let you watch Josh Hader, and we will stop it at, bam, when his front foot gets into the ground. And we'll draw kind of that similar, or that same line as we did on you. And then we'll let him proceed forward, and we can see how his leg stays sturdy, 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 straight, which allows him to rotate around. He gets to finish around that leg. We also have Ranger Suarez. We'll pause him when that front foot hits the ground. Bam. We'll draw that line around his leg. And as he rotates to throw, he straightens his out right away. And then now it becomes that strong, sturdy leg that the rest of his body can finish around. You kind of see what that leg's doing there to become strong and sturdy and stay strong and sturdy. Your leg starts to do that
strong and sturdy, strong and sturdy, strong and sturdy movement. But then that knee starts to bend again, and that's when we get fallen forward completely out of our view. So if we could have a strong and sturdy front leg the entire time, that's going to give us better balance in your finish.
All right, next we're going to work on being balanced on that front leg, having good stability as our body gets out in front of the leg. Just like it would be when we get to release in our follow through and our finish, we are in front of this leg. So we want to work on the strength, the balance, the stability of getting out here and being able to be balanced. Okay, so we're going to have 3 different objects here of varying heights. The shortest one closest to me, and the higher one furthest from me. Everyone's going to have a little different height based on your flexibility. All I'm going to be doing is going to be on that stride leg. Bam. Working good knee posture. No bending of this leg. Having a good arched lower back as we do this so our back can stay stiff and not be loose and go down hunched. And now we're just going to go down, touch, and come back up. Now you're going to the next one. Down, touch, come back up. And then the third one. Touch, and come back.
All right, my man, we got your 2 video clips synced up here to the moment that ball comes out at your hand at release. I'm going to let you watch it 2 times here, and then we will revisit the note that was provided at the beginning of your chapter, and we'll get you a big league video to help illustrate what we're talking about, and then we'll get you some drills that can help you start to really feel how to do what we're trying to accomplish. And that is rotate my back leg on time. And what we mean by that is when this nice, high, smooth, relaxed leg lift that you got, when that leg gets bam into the ground, that is our marker of time. So once this front foot gets in the ground, there's a specific thing that we're hoping this back leg has accomplished by this time of the front leg getting boom into the ground. Some things that you do really good up until this point in your delivery, like I said, that leg lift's really good. We're getting our body to go down and out on this mound and not just down and then trying to go out or just staying super tall the whole time. You're flowing down that mound real well. The glove is in a great spot here. The glove finishes fantastic right here. When that front foot does get into the ground, bam, your shoulders are still sideways, which is great. The only thing that we really need to work on, as mentioned in that note, is getting this back leg to rotate on time. And again, on time is by this front foot being in the ground. We want to see this back foot rotate forward, this back knee rotate forward, which gets this back hip to rotate forward. And if we had a baseball belt on our baseball pants, that belt buckle would then ultimately be going towards that target. So when I was your age and growing up, this was my second favorite pitcher of all time to watch, CC Sabathia. And I got kind of a side view and a front view combo here. And what we're going to do is we're going to see when CC's front foot gets into the ground right now, we can see how that belt buckle is driving towards that target. And if we go backwards from here and we watch his kneecap, we're going to see how much that knee rotated. So that knee just keeps going further and further back right now. Look at that thing. So that knee is all the way back here now. And it's going to be rotating this way. Bam, that kneecap now is facing pretty much the catcher. Kneecap is facing first base. Into first base dugout, on deck circle, catcher. So that way we got that belt buckle going towards that catcher, and then that upper half gets to come around. If I get us a video of just the side view and not necessarily a lefty, we'll get it paused when his front foot hits the ground, and we can see how there's the foot in the ground, in the ground, in the ground. And as it's getting into the ground, we can watch what the back foot is doing and how it's rotating forward. We can then look at the back knee and its rotation forward, forward, forward. And then we can then see how that hip then is getting driven forward, 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 which really gets his entire upper body going forward as well. All before that front foot gets into the ground. So that way it's mostly just the upper half at that point that's rotating to make the throw. We come to you and we can see that your back hip, back knee, and back foot are going to do all of that movement that we just saw those guys do at this point in time, right? Oh, it's not right here. Bam. Bam. After the front foot hits the ground, we see that back knee rotate around, rotate around, rotate around. After the front foot hits the ground, we see that back foot rotate around, rotate around. After that front foot is in the ground, we see that back hip get going forward, get going forward, get going forward. But what was the other thing that we said we got to see go forward with that back leg rotating forward? The whole body getting to go forward, getting to go forward, getting to go forward. So if we come back to you, your upper body's not going to be able to really get to go forward because that foot's in the ground. We're only getting to go forward because of the rotation, which you do a good job of. We definitely want to be rotating forward when we throw. That's fantastic. But we can see when the back leg rotates on time, which is before that front foot hits the ground, not after, that rotation gets to move the body forward, and then we also get to rotate forward. So when we get your back leg to rotate on time, everything else that you do super well is only going to help you throw way harder and a lot more strikes. All right, we're going to be working on getting our backside leg rotated and driven forward, not just spinning in place. So we can just be sitting on a bench, in a chair, anywhere we can have our hands on either side of it to keep our upper body squared and stable. And we're just going to be driving through that big toe, which means we're folding over that big toe to get the foot forward versus spinning in place where the knee stays in place. We need to drive the foot forward to get the knee to go forward versus spinning in place and the knee not going forward. So we can just sit on that bench, on that chair, and just work and practice this movement here of folding over that big toe, driving your foot forward, getting your heel to be in front of your toe at the end. All right, Cieslak. The Cieslak I played with in college, we used to call him Caesar. And then we had this one kid on our team who used to yell out, "Hale, Caesar," anytime he came up the plate. So if any of your friends call you Caesar, it's pretty cool. We'll let you watch this a second time here, and then we'll revisit the note that I gave you at the beginning, and then we'll give you a big league video to compare your delivery with. So my note is get stronger. Let's think about setting goals for how many push-ups in a day I'm going to do and how many sit-ups in a day I'm going to do. Because your mechanics are really good. So if we can just get stronger with these good mechanics, we're only going to throw harder. So I'll highlight some of the things that I like that you're doing in your mechanics so you can continue to do them well. If I did have one note, I'd say let's just get a higher leg lift, man. Guys with high leg lifts have a lot of advantages in their delivery. I can randomly show you 15 big leaguers. Maybe I'll even do that since we don't have to look at your mechanics a whole lot, and we're just going to see them all with big old leg lifts. But everything you do coming out of leg lift, separation's good. His hands in a path where it can travel in an alley that keeps your upper body closed from not wanting to open up early. We get the good glove finish action here. We got front foot getting down with the shoulders trying to fight to stay squared up, so that way we're separating our lower and upper halves from one another, with the lower half firing and the upper half staying back. We do a good job trying to reach out in front through release, maximizing our extension and our directional output of our power going forward. We got good eyes staying on the target as we allow things to finish around. Obviously, we would say this finish right here was a little bit cleaner than this finish here, but this finish here was just fine. So the one guy I pulled up was going to be Garrett Cole, just by the fact that both of you guys get that glove really to reach out to near full extension, and therefore the arms are in similar positions back here. You both have a slight tilt back with that upper body. So we can kind of then get you here. Cole, at this point, his back foot is going to be up off the ground at around foot strike. And that's just how his backside, actually, it'll be shortly after this. So we can see lower halves on you guys, very similar as well there. Upper half's very similar as well. Get Cole to extension. He's going to get a lot more extension and driving that chest down than you are, but he's also coming down from a higher mound, which is going to make it easier to get more extension. All right, we do that same line on you. Then we bring you back. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Line on you, gets you out to release, which is right here. And that's yours versus how much Cole is getting. But like I said, once we get you up on a higher mound and you're able to go down more, you'll be able to reach it out more. So if we just go back to Cole real quick, since I did mention about leg lifts. There's Cole way up here versus you right there. Cole would have to give up on his leg lift about right there to get to you. He's got another good 4 or 5 inches. So let me pause you, get you back to your peak. Bam. We'll get rid of Cole and we'll pull up randomly. Get out of, and I'll just pick, bam, those first guys there. And we'll just watch their leg lifts. He's out of the wind up. You were out of the stretch. He's out of the wind up. He's out of the wind up. He's submarine, but we can still watch him. It's a fun guy to watch. It's a cool video, but not to our point of leg lifts. Paul's, it's a wind up as well. My goodness. Corbin Burns, he's got men on base. He's going to try to be quick to the plate, but even so, he's getting that knee above the belt buckle. Another really low slot guy, but you're going to see that leg get way up there. So knees all the way up here, shin and foot. Knees all the way up to that chest. Hiroki Sasaki is Japanese style pitching. Kind of looking like you actually right there. So yeah, if there's any note I have mechanically, would just be get the leg up higher, but that's not, I mean, really something that's needed, but that could be something that we could play around with. Other than that, get your daily push-ups and sit-ups in. Let's get stronger. Let's throw harder.